Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to thank everybody for attending this morning and joining us. We've got a lot to cover, but one of the main things that we do want to cover is really sharing with you some of the new services that we are offering under the EANS program. And just a quick overview, many of you have been working with us over the past year to provide services and products around EANS. Some of you may have not. So we wanted to give just a quick overview of our background in our services. Of course, you know, ELB has been in the education, technology, and solutions space, furniture, for well over 35 years, providing these solutions to schools for learning spaces. And we provide a wide variety of EANS-approved products and services. Some of the things we're going to talk today about are student intervention and tutoring services. Some of the other things that many of you are aware of is our interactive flat panels, our STEM technology, our modern flexible furniture, and our health, wellness, and safety programs, our AV solutions for multi-purpose rooms, and of course our IT support services and Chromebooks and other device offerings. We have a large local team, as many of you know, that have worked with our local representatives. We've got offices in Pleasanton, Livermore, and in Cypress for Southern California. We have engineers, consultants, designers, furniture designers, project managers, installation teams, as well as education consultants to provide training, because for us, one of the most important things is that when we work with our school partners, we want to make sure and ensure that they're getting the very most out of the technology or the solutions or the furniture or the services that they're working with us on. So just at a quick overview, we have a number of different products that I just talked about, but just a visual on the interactive flat panels. We're very close working relationship with Boxlight Mimeo, and we've been providing their solutions to schools all over the country and really focused right now on the EANS schools in California. Work closely with Lenovo around laptops, Chromebooks, of course, a lot of STEM solutions with Robo 3D printers, robotics, and lab discs. Certainly around air quality monitoring devices, halo, vape detection, and environmental sensors, and of course classroom audio, which was such an important part of mitigating some of the issues around the classroom environment during COVID. This is just a visual of how we align with EANS. The state is very, very satisfied with all of the EANS providers in the state of California. And right now we are actually the largest provider of solutions under that contract for the state. And, you know, looking at all of the different things that we do offer and how we align to the EANS program. But again, a lot of it is really mitigating this learning loss and enhancing student outcomes, and also to protect the students and the schools to make sure that in the event of another outbreak, that you're able to continue with your classes. I just wanted to show you this quick visual of how we operate. We've done numerous refreshes of libraries that now make it more of a safe environment or a way to engage students and enhance their learning. The classroom, you can see here some of the formats from the desks in rows. Whereas if you do have some type of, outbreak, again, you can move your desks apart because they're on casters, or you can put them together for a group environment, and then have the flexibility in your classroom to do that. Okay. Again, just an overview, what has been our most popular services and things to date. Really the technology around interactive and non-interactive displays, the Chromebooks and laptops, the ability to cast your devices and really modernize the technology that really engages students and helps them catch up on the loss of learning for the couple of years through the pandemic. Again, classroom audio solutions, we work very closely with Front Row, very closely with alumni on school furniture for both the classroom, administrative offices, school libraries, and a number of other furniture manufacturers that we are partnered with, and our STEAM and STEM solutions that have curriculum and software and other things. But again, today we really wanted to talk to you about a new service that we are offering, and that's around our student intervention and tutoring. And that's with Study Smart Tutors. Study Smart Tutors is going to present their overall offering, and we have partnered with them because much like we partner with Lenovo or Boxlight or Alumni, we want to provide you with the best overall solutions and services possible in order for you to maximize the value and to catch up on all the things that were missed during the pandemic that the EANS money is for. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Study Smart, and they're going to go over their offering. But I would say that please ask any questions that you may have, and let's keep this somewhat informal, and we'd like you to get your questions answered rather than just us present to you. Please ask us anything, or if you've got any ideas or other thoughts, that's what this period is all about. So thank you. Jack, I'm going to turn it over to you and your team.
Excellent. Thanks, Andy. As he mentioned, I'm Jack Friedman, and we have our partnership manager, Casey Weld, as well here today, and he'll be presenting in a moment. Our mission at Study Smart Tutors is to provide academic support, college access programming, and career readiness services. We work throughout the state of California. Casey and I are both based in Los Angeles, but we have experience working throughout the state across large districts, across private schools, across small districts, charter schools, rural environments, urban environments. So depending on your school's location and community, there's a very high likelihood that we've already worked in a space very, very similar. So our home office team of about 35 folks are mostly based here in California as well. We have hundreds of tutors and support professionals that are here in California also. So it's nice to be talking to some folks here locally. So we're excited to be here and be excited to be ELB's partner in this work. If y'all wouldn't mind, just use your chat box if you have a second. I would just love to hear a few different roles that people play at their school sites. So I'm curious, do we have principals in the room? Do we have department chairs? Do we have counselors? That will just help Casey and myself just give us a bit of a sense of who's here so that we can make sure we are providing the most relevant information to you possible. So if you're able to use your chat box, that would be awesome. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. It's that little comment box. If you can click that, that would allow us to just hear who you are. And we'll keep going. We won't stop for that, but as we see anything in that chat box, we'll make sure to respond to it. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I won't spend a lot of time talking about EANS here. If you're on this webinar, you are likely very familiar with EANS funding and who it has been provided to and what it is for. Obviously, you know that EANS 1 and EANS 2 have acceptable expenses. Awesome. Thanks, Marianne. Excited to have you here. You all know that EANS acceptable expenses are in this student health and safety category. Those are all things that ELB provides as well. But we are focused here around these other categories in this support for education. So educational technology, learning loss, and redeveloping instruction are the EANS categories that we support with. Definitely the second bullet, the learning loss, is the one that we will talk the most about today, and is definitely our area of focus. Quickly with EANS 2, and I just wanted to bring this up because it's specific to our work. As you all probably are aware, EANS 2 funding is eligible to non-public schools that enroll significant percentages of students from low-income families. That has been our area of specialization for over a decade. Our company has focused on supporting low-income students, first-gen students, students in low-resource communities. That's where our staff's experience lies. That's where our experience lies. So if you are serving a large number of those populations or similar, you're going to be hard pressed to find a group that has more experience in California serving those populations than us. So you all probably know about the EANS 2 specific, but I just wanted to bring that up just because it relates to us. I want to turn it over to Casey Weld here to talk a little bit about some of our supports for learning loss. Casey's our partnership manager based in California, and he handles the bulk of this work for our company.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning, everybody. Jack, we can go to the next slide.
Yep.
So as Jack mentioned, I handle a lot of our tutoring partnerships. I worked for LA Unified for a while, so I know kind of what types of models that we can work out, what fits for students, and I mean, most importantly, right, how to figure out what works best for you and your school. Wanted to just start off with a question, and you all can engage with your microphones. You can engage over the chat, but what are you currently doing to support, your most struggling students? And that might be a loaded question if you have tiers of intervention. I understand that there's, of course, right, it's not an easy, broad sweeping answer, but maybe if we could just throw in the chat a couple of things that you all are doing this year, or maybe this month if you want to tailor it and target it.
Well, besides having small class sizes, like first and second grade only has 10, so she can work individually with students. Reading is a problem for a lot of our kids they come in from outside. And so our small class sizes are helping us to be able to work one-on-one with our students. I am an ELA teacher for high school and middle school, and I split my classes so they're smaller, because we do have a lot of students in the middle school and high school, and I have them I have students in different levels, so that like some high schools are in what I call English Language Arts B, which is not as high as English Language Arts C, which has more, those students have more learning ability, they already know a lot. So separating them out so that I can teach them individually, and then we use iReadies,
Okay.
which are helping us to know where they are.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Susan, and thanks for putting that in. Small groups, right? Bringing down the class size. That's a lot of where we come in and support. So Jack, if we go to the next one. In terms of tutoring, the way we do it doesn't really have one particular face. So we work closely with all different ranges, elementary, middle, and high schools, to really adapt tutoring to what your school needs. You can see as you get older, the angles to support can change a little bit. But mostly for elementary school, we do a lot in elementary, I'd say in those early hours of the day. Most of the meat and potatoes of instruction are normally happening between around 8 and noon. And so what we do is we work with schools to figure out what is the exact schedule that you need support with. And so our tutors can push into the class. They can pull out, support small groups. We can do after school tutoring. And then across all levels, we have a lot of experience supporting English learners. So we have our own English language acquisition curriculum that we use. And we can also use curriculum that you all have on site. That's something that again, I think, when folks talk about, I guess, our services, one of the biggest words that comes up is flexibility. Jack, we're jumping through. We can just hop to this one right quick. So Susan, when you mentioned iReady,
yeah, since she mentioned iReady, I figured we'd hop to this and we can come back.
Right. So we already partner with iReady. We partner with Renaissance. We support iExcel. So in terms of the curriculum and the work, right, that our tutors can do with your students, it can be as hands-on or hands-off as you all would like it to be. Some folks say, hey, we already have this intervention plan. We have a specific curriculum. And what we do is we work with you all to align our tutors' work to the efforts that you already have going on campus. On the other hand, if you say, well, I'm not, I'd rather let you all handle that. I know the students that need the support, but I want you to figure out how to support them. We can use a number of different adaptive curriculum platforms to support those students to make sure that we really support them where they have need. I know, I think from EANS, some of you may have purchased these different curriculum platforms like Renaissance, like iExcel, like iReady. And if you're trying to maximize the use of those platforms, that's somewhere where we can really come in, and I think bring a lot of value.
Casey, I'm going to go back to where we were. I didn't mean to jump you too far ahead, but since we were talking about that, I thought it would be relevant.
Oh, good.
May I interrupt here?
Yes, please.
Okay, Casey, I'm the principal at Salesian Elementary and Junior High School. It's an elementary school that basically we've used Renaissance, and we're working to try to maximize our use of data.
Mhm.
And maybe that's something we can, get your services to help
Absolutely.
our teachers be able to use data to help our students, especially our students that are being challenged, whether they're challenged, academically in the lower sphere, or if they are at a point where they need to be challenged to excel, to keep moving forward because they're advanced learners and they're getting bored. And then we also use iExcel as a supplement to our math program. And in our middle school, we have our 7th graders that are already on pre-algebra, and our 8th graders are in algebra 1. And so iExcel has been a fantastic program, but as you say, there are other components that could help us to improve our lesson presentations or even the extra tutoring after school, because we do tutoring for our students, but I would like to see what you have to offer that would be helpful to us.
And thank you for that. I mean, we can definitely on an individual sort of basis break down and figure out for you all, right, how we might be able to support. Like I said before, our services are very adaptive to our partner. So what you all might need at your school could be different from what somebody else needs at their school. And in terms of integrating iExcel, after school support, breaking down the data, that's all stuff that we can support with. So I'll definitely, find some time to talk with you after this, or at the tail end if we have some time, and we can dig in a little bit more. That sound good?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for speaking up on that. I think it's helpful to give everybody context to the types of support we can bring. In terms of the implementation, when we're working, as not to be redundant, but we really do try to adapt to the schedule that you all need. When we're thinking of, there's not a base, this is the Study Smart Tutor, it's going to be 5 hours a day, it's going to look like this, boom, boom, boom. We can give you structured proposals, and we have many different types of structures that we can provide if you're not sure what you're looking for. But it's really very customized in terms of the timing of the day, the schedule, the tutor expertise. We try to drill in and make sure that our support is exactly what you need and not anything extra, not anything less. In terms of a data-driven approach, we use pre and post-course assessments to measure the efficacy of the tutor's time with students. And then also, so we track all the attendance, we report it back to you. We normally do reports every semester, so you all will have updates. You'll have access to live data, so you'll be able to see every day when the tutor worked with students, how long did they work with them, what did they work on, what was the level of engagement between the tutors and the students. That's something that you can see constantly, and then periodically, typically at the end of each semester, but we can provide more updates or reports as you all request. Our team breaks down the data and puts it into a nice summary report, so you all can get a real understanding of what was the impact, and what did everything look like in a given semester or time period. Jack, we can keep going to some of these sample schedules. I think would be, why don't we just while we were talking about sort of schedule customization, these are some schedules that we've put together. In a launch, we'd meet with you all. We'd talk about, what you all need, what are the gaps that we're looking to fill, start to establish some goals, and then look into the actual, timing and what do we need to start structuring and staffing on our end. And then work collaboratively with you all to target students. If you have a particular population, sometimes folks say, hey, I want to work with my most struggling students. Sometimes folks say, I want to really target my students that are just below benchmark so we can get them over the hump. All of that is a collaborative process that between our team and your team, we ensure that everybody's on the same page of what the goals are of this academic support. We'll go as we get closer. There's things like ensuring that there's the right space for tutoring, that students and tutors can work together in a good environment. They have the right tech access, if depending on the platforms you all are going to be using. And then lastly, we place the tutors and we execute. We can normally move on things pretty quickly. We have I wouldn't say it's quite, I don't know, Jack. It's not quite a tutor army yet, but we have a large number of tutors in the California area, specifically in Southern California. I mean, we through a partnership with ELB and EANS, we're working with one school, and we got them some tutors within 3 weeks that they needed for AP Calculus. So these are, we really pride ourselves in the efficiency of our team and the expertise of our tutors. Jack, now let's go to those schedules. These are more just sort of visuals so that you can see that we really adapt to what it is. So I met with a school and they said, well, we want to have support from 9:30 to 1:30, and we want to hit all these different grades. How can we structure that? And so this is something that, although it might look a little bit busy at the first glance, this is a way that we were able to target, okay, we know that this one's for literacy, so we have this breakdown that's going a little bit more heavy on the TKK in the first and second, whereas this same school also has a math tutor where some of the time is more focused on that third and fourth, fifth and sixth band. So these are just visualizations of the way that we break it down, and whenever we meet together after a conversation, we follow up and we say, hey, this is sort of what I heard the schedule sounding like of what we discussed. Does this look good to you? And that's a process, but that's sort of a back and forth of making sure that that there is a mutual agreement on what services will look like, because we know that if we're talking about purchasing 1,000 hours of tutoring, it's kind of hard to visualize and understand what that looks like on the ground. So what we do is we try to put it into an actual schedule so that it's really clean and clear. This one was one for elementary. Jack, why don't we just take a peek at the one for high school? This is a high school that has an alternating schedule. So 1 week they have what they call blue days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the next week the blue days are Tuesday, Thursdays. So what we did with them was, and this is not the full schedule, there is the Gold Week combo to it. But again, just really further pointing out the fact that we will tailor and custom the schedule to your needs. Only thing to consider is we have, an hour minimum. We like to get our tutors out to campus for, at least a few hours if they're going to go and be in person. But I think that's pretty understandable. So Jack, yeah, these are just, again, visuals of what schedules can look like. I think it's one thing to say that we customize, but when you actually see that there are different times on each day and you understand that this is all based off of the classes that they wanted to target. They said, I have periods 1 and 2 that I need for algebra. I have periods at, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I need for calculus support. And we made sure that the schedule exactly fit their needs.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, can you just go back to the maximizing the resources or your own, content? Because some of the folks came on a little late after we missed this. I just want to make sure everybody understands how you work with the schools and depending on what their needs are. So Casey, if you could just real quick, I don't want to take too much time, but we saw a couple of people came in after you had presented this. So just so everybody's got a clear understanding.
Yeah, no problem. So for those who are just joining, in terms of the resources you all have, some of you may already use platforms like iReady. You might use Renaissance, maybe the STAR assessment or IXL. These are all platforms that we either have direct partnerships with or work with them quite often through other partnerships. And so when you're thinking about, how could Study Smart Tutors support your students, and really what a lot of people think is, what's the lift going to be for me? And our goal is to make sure that that lift is the weight that you want it to be. So I say that because if you want the lift to be something where you are really involved with identifying the curriculum that the tutors are going to be using and making sure that it's tailored and specific, and you have a special program, then we will work with you to make sure that the tutors are ready to go and fit in with that structure. On the other hand, if you say, I'd really rather you all take care of it, we can utilize a number of different platforms to provide. These are all adaptive curriculum. It's, can tailor to different groups. And so in terms of, just the actual material that our tutors use to work with the students, it can be hands-on or hands-off, where we're really, we know that sometimes folks want us to handle it all. Sometimes you have specific needs that you don't want a cookie cutter program to come into. And that's why we try to be really adaptive and flexible. Thanks for revisiting that, Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
In terms of who our tutors are, I think that's a really important thing to understand is our tutors, coming from working in for LA Unified, I often say that our tutors could, at the bare minimum, be a substitute teacher. So they all have to have at least a bachelor's degree. Many have master's degrees or credentials. They all have to pass we have a mirror of the CBEST exam. They all have to have experience tutoring or teaching prior to ever working with us. Even whatever sort of experience they have, we still take them through a full PD model to make sure that they match our standards. We have really high standards for our tutors, and they are professionals. And so that's I think where when you speak with us or with other folks, I think that the best way to learn about sort of who our tutors are and how they do it is to speak to schools that we partner with. Hear it directly from the source, because our references really speak for themselves. Number 4 is demonstrated subject expertise. So I touched upon this a little bit when I was going over the schedules, but we tailor to what it is you need in terms of subjects. So if you say, I need a science tutor, but I need them for chemistry and AP physics, well, we'll make sure that we get the right people for that. A lot of people need support in some of those higher math classes. It's hard to find tutors that are experts in these really complex subjects. So that's something we can do. We also can tailor towards English learners, and bring on tutors with certificates that are based off of teaching English as a second language. It's for us, that's why it's such a collaborative process of working with you all to know what you need at your school, so we can try to have the perfect match for that. In terms of just how we recruit our tutors in general, it's a really strict process. I don't have the numbers on it, Jack, but I mean, there's maybe 10% of applicants actually become tutors for us, because we really want to make sure that we do our part to ensure that anybody going to work with your students are going to be the best sort of the best tutors that we have. And lastly, they're all DOJ live scan clearance, and for diocese schools, we do the Virtus training. So all of that gets taken care of, so that we're all in compliance with folks working with your students. Maybe one more thing on the tutor profile is just that that we try to make sure that the tutors look like the students they're serving. And so we have a really proactive approach to ensuring that our tutors can relate to students and understand the communities that they're coming from, because building rapport and trust is so valuable to the efficacy of the outcomes of the tutoring. And then lastly, sorry, I went a little bit over on that part, but I'd like to talk a lot about who our tutors are, because I think that's really what separates us. And then lastly, if you say, well, I've got a program, I've got a plan, I've got the people, I just need you all to support it and you know, provide some coordination and oversight and maybe some curriculum, whatever, we can use your teachers. If you have specific teachers over the summer that you know need work, but due to different funding lines, it's a little complicated, we're always happy to bring in your teachers. We can either onboard them the way that we do it, or we can, you know, sort of leave that up to you. Again, in terms of the personnel, we're confident in the people that we do employ. And if you have specific people that you'd like supporting, you know, your students over the summer or during the school year, we can definitely work with them. That's no issue at all. I don't know if I went over on the tutoring piece. That was a lot of me talking. Before we get into some of the other services, just want to open it up for folks and see, are there any questions specifically around the tutoring? Okay.
Casey, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Regarding the program, is there like a set package that we can, you know, look into, or is it something that, you know, we'd have to look at and see? I'm talking about cost.
So in terms of cost, I mean, we have a couple, we could meet and I can say, oh, well, this other school for, you know, 3 tutors 3 times a week, this is a rough cost. So I can give you ideas of packages that other folks have bought, but really what we try to do is tailor whatever the need is to your school. So as we meet, normally the way that we map out cost in general is through 2 ways. We either start with the structure, saying, you know, the number of tutors, number of hours a day, number of days a week, and number of weeks in a semester or school year. And then we just map out, it's a per hour price. And so at the end of that, we'd say, okay, this is, you know, this would be the cost. The other way is you say, this is our budget, working backwards from the budget. What is the most targeted and strategic way that we can, you know, maximize the funds to bring in support?
Yeah, I think it's really all, and the idea here is to expose you to this, and then we can set up separate meetings so you can get into really what your specific needs are, and then we can provide a proposal for you and work with you, as Casey said, either back from where your budget is or, you know, on the program that you need. Most of you are in a unique situation with EANS because, you know, there are these extra funds out there and for you to work with. So, you know, depending on what type of funding you have left, depending on, you know, what you've already used, but we'll be happy to work with you and within your budget constraints and with what your needs are. So thank you, sister, for those questions.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. And now I will pass it back over to Jack. But if anything comes up, you think about something specifically related to the tutoring, let me know in the chat. Happy to follow up.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Before we talk about some of our other programming, I want to kind of hit on a few other learning loss specific items that we offer. All the things we talked about before are tutoring based. We also have some non-tutoring based learning loss support programs that are either course based or lesson based. So in the reading and writing category, you'll see our grammar boot camps, our writing labs, and our college admissions programs. All of those are courses or mini courses that you would identify a subgroup of students. You'd say, hey, I really want to make sure our 9th graders who are transitioning into 10th grade get some writing support. We have a population of them that need it. We'd identify them and they'd take our writing lab. It'd be 12 or 15 or 20 hours, depending on your schedule. And we would put them through a course like that. And same thing in the math space with our math foundations courses, our bricklayer courses, right? Those are where you're going to identify a group of students and they're going to take a course together that's going to start and it's going to end. And that course would either be after school, could be on a Saturday, could be during the summer. And then the other flavor are our standalone workshops. And these are things that would not need to be students would not need to be enrolled in, would not need to be course-based, could be standalone, either as an after-school offering or a Saturday offering or something like that. And we have workshops on everything like test taking, time management, study skills, learning styles. We have, Casey, how many different workshops do you think we have? 90 or 100 probably?
Yeah, I think last I checked, it was close to like 110. So
okay, 110. So these are things you can mix and match from individually. And we have a lot of schools who will say, oh, we want to do a workshop Wednesday program for our 6th grade one Wednesday a month. Can you help us develop something for that? This curriculum could also work really well if you have an advisory period, or you have a period where you're looking to support some students. We have a ton of advisory style content that could be utilized there as well. We also provide support for families around learning loss. These are things that we have done in a variety of different formats. As I mentioned, you all have seen we have a lot of college access topics. Our founding was in the college access space. That was our initial business, was supporting in the college space. So you'll see we still have a lot of content supporting in that space for your middle and high schools. We also have a number of other topics that we've added throughout the pandemic, supporting parents and families. All of these programs that we offer for families are in English and in Spanish. They can be offered live, they can be virtual, they can be recorded, they can be in person. We've done podcasts, we've done video content. So if you're interested in providing programming for your families, talk with us, because we've gotten some really, really creative projects done in this space with some of our partners, and happy to share some of the portfolio of work that we've done in this space over the years.
Yeah. And Jack, I just want to jump in here 1 sec. We had an event down in Orange County a couple of weeks ago with the Orange County Diocese. And, I was talking to one of the principals from one of the schools to really ask, what their needs were. And it was interesting because one of the things that came front and center was that they really needed to train parents on, how to work with their kids in helping them with their studies, and also in their college planning and things like that. And one of the things that then I told the principal was that we have programs and parent workshops, and so there are a lot of different programs that Study Smart has developed specifically for those needs. So they're just kind of touching the tip of the iceberg here with some of the things, which is why, when we meet separately, we can get into all those specific things. But that was one of the things where, the principal said, well, I really don't need, the tutoring right now, but I need parent training and workshops and things like that, and a summer workshop and some other programs that they really needed. So I think there's a lot of different things here that may be beneficial and may help you all.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Andy. Yeah, we've done a lot of parent university style programs where parents bring their children to a Saturday program or summer program or an evening program, and we work with the students while we work with the parents. We can get super creative in developing things like that if you're interested. I do want to talk briefly about utilizing your EANS funding potentially in summer programming. I know it's the heat of summer program planning, if you are thinking about that. So I want to talk about that briefly. Typically what we've seen, and we have a ton of experience running summer programs, working with schools and college access organizations, libraries, afterwards, doing summer programming. And we found that there are four elements to developing a successful summer program. And ideally, you're probably doing some of these already, but hopefully with some of the things that we offer, maybe we can make this a bit more robust. But depending on if your summer program is enrichment focused or intervention focused, we do have programming for both. Casey talked about our tutoring. Casey talked about some of the different things, the writing labs that I mentioned, the math labs. Those can all be great summer intervention programs. What I want to spend a few minutes talking about now are some of the summer enrichment offerings that we have that can be a supplement to any intervention or a complement to what you may already be doing. So I'm going to talk about a few different courses that we have. All of these courses that I'm going to talk about here in a minute can be done in a variety of ways. They can be done fully virtually with a virtual instructor and students from home. They can be done fully in person with an in-person instructor and students in a classroom, or some combination thereof. We also offer all of these courses taught by our tutor facilitators or taught by your staff. So if you have summer instructors, summer programs that they're just looking for curriculum, these can all be licensed to you to utilize simply the curriculum or with a combination of a teacher. So I'll talk about each one of these. I'll give you a sample of all of them. We're not going to go into too much detail. We'd be here all night, but I'll give you a quick overview of some of our most popular offerings. Depending on if you have interest in doing anything with music this summer, we have a 3-course pathway into music production. And this course is in partnership. We developed this course pathway in partnership with 1500 Sound Academy. They're one of the leading music schools here in Los Angeles. And they helped us develop 3 courses: an introduction to music production, an advanced music production course, and a careers marketing and branding in the music space. So if you have students who are interested in careers in the music industry, this course pathway is going to be really, really awesome for them, because it's going to give them access to some of the tools that industry professionals use. They're going to get to make their own beats. They're going to get to showcase their own creativity, and they're going to get a certificate from 1500 Sound Academy that's going to go on their resume. It's going to go on their brag sheets. It's something they can talk about in their college applications. So this course would be really, really fun for your students, either as an after-school club or within a summer program. The next one I'll talk about, and these all have demo videos.
Jack, there's a question on that one. What
Oh,
grade?
yeah, sorry.
Yep.
What grade level is the music for? Great question. And we recommend this as 8th grade and up. But if you have younger students, I don't know, and what grade levels of students do you work with?
We're preschool to grade 8.
Okay. Yeah, so this could work well with your rising 8th graders. If you wanted to have your rising 7th do it as well, I think we absolutely can. It's just a matter of adapting some of the activities to make sure that they are just age appropriate. The next one I want to talk about, and this one is the most applicable K-12, and this is probably going to be the most popular for your students, is our Lego engineering courses. They are what they sound like. So they are an introduction to structural engineering through Legos. It's exposure to careers in STEM. This is tactile. Students will actually get to build. This course is by far our most popular K-12 enrichment. We actually built this originally for elementary school students, but it's been so popular with middle school and high school students as well. I see why Lego has been such a big company for so long, because apparently everybody loves Legos. But this class can work as a STEM week if you wanted to concentrate the programming all throughout a week, or you could have it be a summer long. I was working with Boys and Girls Club program yesterday. They want to implement this as an enrichment activity twice a week for their 7 weeks of their summer program for their 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So we'll have a group for that. So that's how this can look. This course can last anywhere from about 5 hours at the short end to, Casey, what's the longest we've ever done with this? About 25 maybe?
Yep. 25 hours. There's different units. There's the part 2 unit with the amusement park where kids build carousels and Ferris wheels. They love that.
Yeah. And this can be taught either by your staff as a license. We can sell you the kits and your staff can teach this. I'd say most popular though is programs don't really want to do that. They'd rather have someone else come in and do this for them. So I'd say that's the more popular offering. But if you're interested in having your folks teach this, we're happy to provide you the lessons, the kits, and the training that goes with it, or we can absolutely teach this.
Jack, another question just came in.
Yeah.
Does all the materials come with the program?
They do. Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yep. Everything that I'm talking about here, we provide you with everything as part of the offering. The whole idea with everything that we do, and Casey tried to explain this in the tutoring space too, is we want to be really easy for you to work with. We want to ask you to do almost nothing, so that we can be successful, right? We're hopefully making your life easier, not harder. Next one I want to talk about is our most popular certificate course-based program, and this is our Sneaker Essentials class. We started this course during the pandemic. I see Susan's giving me a look, which I hope is a look of amusement.
They would love this.
Yeah. So this course is our most popular that we've done. We started this course in the pandemic. This course is what it sounds like also, but what I like about this course is it utilizes the sneaker industry as a hook to talk about design, to talk about business, and to talk about media. And so your students that are going to be really interested in sneaker design, yeah, of course, they're going to love this class, because of course, a component of this is going to be designing their own sneaker, learning about sneaker manufacturing, learning about some of the best selling sneakers and why and whatnot. But you also may have students who are really interested in the business side of sneakers, and they're going to get in this course to do activities focused on the business side. They'll get to design their own sneaker boutique. I don't know how if you any sneakerheads on this call, but if you're familiar with a website called StockX, that's essentially the stock market of sneakers. Students will do activities using that site to track prices of different sneakers and why things may be moving up and down. So your students who are into that space will really like this course too. And then the third last unit in this course is all around sneaker media. And if you've seen those unboxing videos and things like that, students will actually get to make their own sneaker media kits as well. So, and depending on how much time you have, this course could hit very detailed on all of these three elements, or could only take, some of the surface level on each of these, depending on how much time you have. Susan, question.
How long is the course?
Yeah, so this course is a minimum of 10 hours and could run as a maximum. I don't know. I think the maximum anyways run this is probably 50 hours, but this course could be really, really long. One of the activities in module 2 is at the retail of making your own sneaker boutique. That itself could take 50 hours if you wanted it to. We've seen programs do things like a Shark Tank activity where students get to pitch their sneaker designs to the community or to their fellow students. It's a really, really good, I talked about this before, about the community aspect of a summer program. This course really builds that community space really, really well. But you could also run this after school or a Saturday program. You totally could, but I think it just fits really well in the summer.
How about as an elective for a quarter during the school
Yeah,
year?
oh,
We have a
100%.
business class where we do electives, professional, stuff,
Oh,
personal
yes.
finance.
Yes, 100%. This is absolutely this is all aligned to the California CTE standards as well. So 100% this could work as an elective class for your students.
Yeah, it's too much fun.
Yep. Excellent. I love hearing these questions. It's great. Other ones, this is our math class disguised as an enrichment course. We have a lot of students, I'm sure you do as well, who are interested in esports. We have 4 different courses in the esports realm. I'm going to talk about this one, but we also have 2 courses that we're developing in the game design space. We have a streaming course, and then we have this one, which is an exploring data analytics utilizing esports. This course really is a statistics course. It's just hidden as an esports course, but its hopeful goal is to engage students in statistics, in data analytics, utilizing esports. I know myself was a really big baseball fan as a little kid, right? Thinking about math through baseball, right? Think of that version of this in the 21st century, right? As esports are a lot more popular with kids than baseball is these days. So, but that's what this course is.
Right.
And again, these courses are certificated by industry partners. Every single course that I've talked about here has a certificate that your students can put on their resumes, can put on their brag sheets, things like that.
And we can also help you with the esports room as well, with the design, with the technology, and and all of that as well. So kind of puts them both together.
Awesome. Yep. Last one I'll talk about here is our Celebrating the Influence of African Culture. This course, again, is what it sounds like. Teaches students. This is really a fashion-focused course, and is something we've been excited. We partnered with a really prominent fashion designer named Ugo Mosier for this content, and he utilized in this space a lot of his own creative influences and talked about how he conceptualizes things. It was really, really interesting course content here, and we're excited to bring this to students as well. All of these courses that I mentioned here, we can provide you with, in this link to this PowerPoint is demo videos for each of these courses, but anybody who's interested in getting a demo access to these courses, we're more than happy to create a demo account. You can play around, you can see the activities, you can see these courses. We never want folks to be surprised by any of the curriculum that they're getting. So absolutely happy to provide you all with detailed overviews and demo access, so you can check this stuff out. Lastly, we do offer some professional development services as well for your paraprofessionals, for your counselors, for your teachers. These are some of the topics that I think are most relevant to our EANS funding categories. So hybrid learning, engagement, trauma-informed practices, cultural competency. SAMR is a technology framework. So we're happy to talk with you if you're interested in some professional learning for your staff. That's an area that we also offer a significant amount of program. So it is 11:53. I want to make sure we get you out of here on time. Hopefully we didn't talk too long about some of the different things, but hopefully you all got a summary today of, we do a lot of different things. Tutoring is our most popular offering right now, given where things are with funding, where things are with programming. But certainly we have a lot of other things as well. I don't know why my PowerPoint is cut off here, so you cannot see our contact info, but I will fix that and make sure you all can see that. We'll also send this PowerPoint out to you along with the recording, so you have that and you have all the links. And Casey and myself would be happy to chat with you along with the ELB team about all of these offerings and how we can best support your students.
Oh, fun. This is great. This has been great. Lots of ideas.
Thanks, Susan. Who has questions?
see
I have
in the-
one.
Debbie, yeah?
Yeah, Debbie, go for it.
Hi, Debbie. You're muted, Debbie. Just go down to the microphone on the bottom of
I
the
got
screen.
it.
There you go. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. I didn't want you to hear all of my children running around here earlier. I just put in the chat, I was wondering, hearing about Southern California, a lot of Southern California. What about Northern California and your resources
Yeah.
that are in our area, my
Yeah,
area?
we have worked. We have a significant amount of experience throughout Northern California, Central California, throughout the state. Where are you located in Northern California?
In Oakland,
Okay.
California.
Yep, we've been working in Oakland, in Berkeley, in San Francisco for a long time.
Right.
We provide actually all of the college prep and enrichment programs at all of the San Francisco Public Library branches, and have been doing that for 6 years now. So we're very, very well versed in programming in the Bay Area. So absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And in the Sacramento area as well, working at a number of schools in Sacramento. If you were going to tell me you were in, the Oregon border, Northern California, I was going to say we don't have quite as much experience in person there, but certainly in the Bay Area, in Oakland, in East Bay, and in Sacramento, we're very well versed in programming there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely.
I think Susan had another
I have
question.
another question. Early in the program, I saw something flash that said college access programming. What's that?
So college access programming is everything that falls into college readiness and transition. So that goes, things in our college access category are things like, which we used to do a ton of before the things changed, but SAT, ACT, AP readiness, preparation, college readiness workshops, college admissions, writing support, FAFSA, financial aid. Casey, what am I missing in the college category?
Applications, navigating like things like EOP or these, sort of different programs at the college. Writing labs, having students finish up those personal insight questions for the UCs is often pulling teeth. And so we have a writing lab that makes sure they get them done. Writing, financial aid, navigating the application process, and then also kind of in somewhat related, but some of the social emotional content around navigating imposter syndrome when if they're a first gen student going into a new environment, where we kind of wrap around, because that is our specialty for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can share my screen really quick. I'll just show this really quick so you can see it. But this is for high school students, but we lovingly call this menu the Cheesecake Factory menu of some of our different topics. But here is the college planning and readiness category. So you'll see things like brag sheets, big future, college applications, college pathways, common app, EOP, financial aid, high school pathways, letters of rec, PIQs. If you can name it in the college category, we probably have it. Yeah, great question.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anne, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to type it just in case.
Yeah.
If EANS funding is going to be used, is ELB the facilitator of that?
Yes. Yeah, it is. And as I said earlier, when we started, we're working with Study Smart Tutors the same way we work with our technology providers, with Lenovo or with Box like Mimeo, or with, Alumni Furniture. It's just another service or product that we have partnered with in our overall organization. It's not just for EANS programs, it's really across the board. But the EANS need is front and center right now. And so we're really focused on that because, you've got a year and a few months left with your EANS funding. And, I talk to the state a lot, to Carrie Lopes, around what they have, and the usage of their funding. They have intimated that at the end of the program in September of 24, that they'll have kind of a wind down period for 90 days to January of 25. Services like this, they may allow to go through the end of 25 of the school year, because you may get started with a program such as this and it's hard to cut it off mid-year. Now, I'm not promising that. I'm just conveying what I heard because, you know, I'm on all the calls with the Department of Ed, and I see some of you nodding. You are too. They do have separate ones sometimes with just the vendors, and they give us some information. And, you know, as you all know, they're winding down EANS 1 now, and so that process is happening. Many different schools got funding for EANS 2, then EANS 1, and, you know, a lot of schools have spent, you know, a lot of their funding on certain things, you know, to outfit their schools or to address, you know, some of the health concerns. And now they're really looking at, you know, things like tutoring and things like, you know, in-school programs to really enhance, you know, the overall student achievement scope. And so for us, it all goes through us. You know, I think we have most of our BDMs on the call. Dennis Spielvogel is on, who's up in the Bay Area, and Brent in Central California, Brent Smith. I think Keith Liu is on also, that's in the Bay Area. You know, we've got 2 representatives down in Southern California with Christina and Jason Bruce, and of course, Dana up in the Sacramento area, who I think, Susan, you're working with. So
Yeah, she's
contact them or they'll contact you. And my recommendation is let's just set up a meeting so you can, you know, go deeper, ask more questions. Again, you know, there's no high pressure with us. We want to help you guys. If we can help you with these programs, we'd love to. If we can, at least you know what we're offering. And so I would just recommend set up some meetings and, you know, let's see if we can help you with these things.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate it. And it's good to see everybody. Glad the weather is better. And hopefully the snow doesn't melt down too hard on everybody.